Beneath the noise of metrics, there is a single number that functions as a silent referee, deciding if your entire funnel lives or dies. It's the number your CEO watches and the number investors use to predict your future. Now, this isn't just another metric to add to your dashboard. This is the metric. You know, in a world that's obsessed with traffic, with leads, with top-line revenue, we tend to celebrate growth at all costs. But that celebration, it's often a really dangerous illusion, a paradox that sits right at the heart of modern business. I mean, think about it. How is it possible that a business generating millions in sales could be on a fast track to complete failure? It's this devastating flaw that's hiding in plain sight. We get addicted to the dopamine hit of a new sale, right? We watch that revenue number climb, but we forget to ask the most important question: at what cost? The hard truth is, the most aggressive funnels, the ones that look like these massive successes from the outside, are often just financial black holes, burning through cash with every single new customer. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain on the one number that exposes this dangerous truth. So in this explainer, we're going to cover where this silent referee even came from. We'll unpack the 3-to-1 code that determines if you're even viable, we'll explore the psychology behind it, and then walk through a playbook you can use to master it. And it all leads to a final verdict that I think will change how you look at your business forever. So what is this silent referee? Well, its story doesn't start in some marketing meeting. It actually starts with a financial crisis that grew out of one of the biggest shifts in business we've ever seen: the rise of the subscription economy. Let's just rewind for a second. In the old world, business was pretty simple. You sold a widget for $100, it cost you $50 to make and sell it, boom, you made $50 in profit. It was simple, immediate, and crystal clear. But then, SaaS and the subscription model completely flipped the script. All of a sudden, a customer wasn't just a single transaction anymore. No, they became a long-term asset, paying you a little bit every single month, maybe for years. And this created a massive problem. You had to spend all the money to get that customer today, but you'd only make that money back in these tiny little increments over time. This is what we call the delayed ROI crisis, and it basically left companies flying blind, just burning through cash with no idea if they'd ever see a return on it. And you can bet that the venture capitalists, the investors pouring millions into these new subscription businesses, they demanded a way to cut through all that noise. They needed a standard, a single benchmark to figure out if a company was a rocket ship or if it was a sinking ship. They had to know if their investment was actually building long-term value. And so, they codified the framework that would become the gold standard: the lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, LTV to CAC. Okay, so let's pop the hood and look at the engine of this ratio. Because this isn't just a metric, it's the core equation of a sustainable business. It's the viability code that separates the companies that can scale from those that are just doomed to fail. All right, first up, the numerator, LTV, or customer lifetime value. And here's the most common mistake people make. They confuse this with lifetime revenue. It is not. LTV is the predicted gross profit from a customer over their entire relationship. You have to know your gross margin. So if a customer pays you $10 a month, but your margin is 80%, you're only actually making $8 in gross profit. That's the number that matters. The whole goal of your product team, your support team, your customer success team, it's all to make this number as big as possible by keeping customers happy and paying for longer. Now for the denominator, CAC, or customer acquisition cost. This is the total fully loaded cost to get one new customer. And fully loaded is the key phrase here. This isn't just what you spend on ads. Oh no. It is every single penny you spend on acquisition. We're talking the salaries for your entire sales and marketing team, your agency fees, your software subscriptions, all of it. You add all that up and divide it by the number of new customers you got. This kind of ruthless accounting stops you from hiding costs. And the goal here? Relentless, aggressive efficiency. So when you put these two together, you get a beautifully simple equation: LTV divided by CAC. This is the real-time stress test of your entire business model. It forces you to look beyond those flashy revenue numbers and get honest. It creates this constant, healthy tension. You're always trying to increase the lifetime value of your customers, while at the same time, you're trying to push down the cost to get them. It forces optimization at both ends of the journey. And that brings us to the magic number, the number that investors are looking for, the number that signals a healthy, scalable business. And that number is 3-to-1. This is the benchmark. For every single dollar you spend to get a customer, you need to get at least $3 in gross profit back over their lifetime. This chart pretty much lays out the verdict. And this isn't just a suggestion. This is the cold, hard math of your company's future. If your ratio is below 1 to 1, you are actively destroying capital. You're literally paying to lose money. A 1 to 1 ratio, well, that's just stagnation. You're running on a treadmill, making back only what you spent with nothing left for overhead, R&D, or, profit. But 3 to 1 and above, that is where scalable growth lives. That extra margin, that $2 of profit for every $1 spent, that's the fuel for everything. That's what pays your engineers, funds your new products, and lets you build a war chest to crush your competitors. But here's the part that I find fascinating. While LTV to CAC is pure finance, the reason it's so incredibly effective is that it forces a business to tap into some of the most powerful drivers of human behavior. See, it's not just about the math, it's about the psychology that the math creates. The power of this ratio is actually rooted in core principles of influence. Think about it. To increase your LTV, you have to become obsessed with customer success. When you deliver an amazing product experience, you reinforce their original decision to buy from you, and that taps into the principle of consistency. People want to feel like they made a smart choice. A customer who gets consistent value feels validated, which makes them far less likely to leave. Then, on the other side, to lower your CAC, you have to master reciprocity. The best way to get customers cheaply is to give them immense value up front, a powerful free tool, a deep white paper, a really useful free plan. This creates a kind of psychological obligation, a feeling that they owe you their attention and, hopefully, their business. Okay, so we get the theory. Now let's make it actionable. How do you actually take control of this ratio and make it work for you? Let's dive into the Mastery Playbook. There are 3 core things you absolutely have to do. First, you have to deconstruct the ratio by isolating your customer acquisition cost for every single marketing channel you use. They are not all created equal. Second, you have to engineer retention by treating customer churn as the ultimate revenue killer that it is. And third, you need to optimize your pricing to make sure you get your money back fast. You cannot just manage a blended average CAC. That's useless. You have to break it down channel by channel. So let's look at this table. Organic search has a 6 to 1 ratio. That's a gold mine. The verdict? Scale aggressively. You pour money in there, hire more people, you treat it like your #1 growth engine. Content marketing? Also really strong at 4 to 1. But then look at paid social. It's at 2 to 1, which is below our 3 to 1 benchmark. That's a huge warning sign. That channel needs immediate optimization. New ads, better targeting, or you have to cut it. And then there's partnerships with a ratio below 1. This channel is a capital destroyer. It must be shut down immediately. Every customer from here is a net loss. This kind of clarity is what stops you from blindly throwing money away. Next, you engineer a higher LTV by attacking churn. And the most critical battleground for that is the first 7 days. Your goal is to shorten the time to value. That's the time it takes for a new customer to have that big aha moment with your product. That could be creating their first report or sending their first email campaign. The faster they get real, tangible value, the more embedded you become in their workflow and the longer they'll stick around. And finally, you have to optimize your pricing for a rapid CAC payback period. The gold standard here is getting your entire acquisition cost back in under 12 months. And why? It's all about cash flow. If it takes you 24 months to get paid back, you're fronting that cost for 2 years, which can literally bankrupt a growing company. You can speed this up with things like one-time onboarding fees or by using low-cost initial offers to get your investment back quickly. So, after all the math, all the psychology, and the strategy, what's the ultimate takeaway here? Well, it's a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about really understanding what it is you're trying to build. And this right here is the final, essential insight. The money you spend on acquisition, it is not an expense on your profit and loss statement. It is a strategic investment you are making to acquire a long-term revenue-generating asset. And that asset is the customer. The LTV to CAC ratio is the language that translates every single thing you do in your business, a new ad campaign, a product feature, a pricing change, into its ultimate long-term financial consequence. It forces the entire company to align around one single goal: acquiring and keeping profitable customers. So in the end, the best marketing really isn't about pushing people through a funnel or finding the latest growth hack. It's about a relentless focus on the one number that proves the health of your business model, the number that proves the customer is worth fighting for. And that is the power of the LTV to CAC ratio.